statement that we used? Cash flows. Statement of cash flows, right. So the statement of cash flows has 3 different sections, okay? Operating, investing, and financing. And we're going to get into detail in this in another chapter. But those are 3 different sections. OIF. Those are the sections in the statement of cash flows. What I want to mention here, so this reconciles to your year-end cash balance. And what's really important about the statement of cash flows, because this is the one that people go, what is this? Like, what are we doing? This is so confusing. It doesn't make any sense. What is all this nonsense, okay? So I just want to talk about it just for a moment. So you have this income statement on the accrual basis. It tells you what you've earned, what revenue you've earned, what expenses you've incurred. Did it mean you received any cash? No. It doesn't mean you received anything. And you have your balance sheet, which tells you kind of assets you have on hand. It tells you what people owe you, what your receivables are. It tells you what debt you have, what you have to pay, right? It tells you what you've earned cumulatively to date in your retained earnings account. Does that help you pay your bills? Is that going to pay your utility bill? Anything on there? No. What do you need to actually operate a business? Cash. You need to know how much cash you have coming in, because without cash, you have nothing. Okay? You can't pay your bills. You can't invest in your company to expand. You can't operate. You just simply cannot operate. Think about those moments where you look at your bank account and you go, holy cow, I have $50 and I have $1,000 in bills. Okay? This happened to me last week, okay? Before I started working. I was like, well, this is a little bit of a problem. Okay? You can't operate when you don't have cash. Okay? So the statement of cash flows, even though it seems like this bizarre thing that you have to put together, and we're going to help make sense of it and make it not so scary, okay? It is hugely important because it tells you how you've used your cash during the period, what cash has come in and what cash you've used. Bless you. Which in conjunction with the other statements is extremely important, right? It just intuitively, right? It makes sense. We all agree you need cash. And none of the other statements are necessarily telling you how much cash you have coming in, how much cash you have coming out. Okay? So this is reconciling to your cash balance, okay, and telling you about the cash you've used in your operations, the cash you've used in investing, and the cash you've used in financing, or brought in any of those ways, okay? Because also, on top of, I'll just mention this one other thing, on top of the fact that you have cash, maybe you may have a lot of cash coming in. What if you have a lot of cash coming in because you took out a loan, or because you had a gain on some sale of property that you sold? Is that a good kind of cash to have? Not in the long run, right? Because if you can't bring in cash from your operations, if you're bringing them in because you sold some investments or because you were financing on something, that doesn't bode well, but you're not bringing in anything in from here. In the long run, you're not probably going to survive. And on the flip side of that, if you look at the statement of cash flows and you look at how much cash they're bringing in for financing, it could be an indication to an investor that this is a company that's trying to expand or invest in their company by taking out loans, right? So there's not a universal meaning to everything that you see on the statement of cash flows, but there is very important information there, right? I'm thinking of investing in this company. Let me look and see, financing-wise, are they bringing in a lot of money? Because I've heard that if they're talking about expansion, are they backing it up? Are they taking out money so that they can do that and investing in the future? Okay? So these are the kinds of things and why the statement of cash flows is so important. And we will go over this in more detail